They handed out gifts as if they were in a Hollywood movie, gold watches, Louis Vuitton bags, even car keys. But when it was my turn, my mother, Karen, looked directly at me and said, "Oh, Amelia, we figured you didn't need anything. After all, you're still working that cashier job, right?" Then they all burst into laughter, as if I wasn't even there, like I was some failure they had to put up with. If you've ever been the black sheep of your family, humiliated, ignored, or mocked, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Because what I did next made them wish they'd never opened their mouths. I sat there, smiling outwardly but burning inside. My cousin Mason was waving his new iPhone around. My sister Emily was crying over the Tesla keys Dad handed her. I stayed silent. No gift, no response, no respect. But beneath the surface, I wasn't broken. I was calculating. While they celebrated, no one at that table knew I was running an e-commerce business that had just hit $2.3 million in annual revenue. No investors, no loans, just me, a secondhand laptop, and sleepless nights packing orders in my studio apartment. My older brother, Tyler, leaned in with a smirk. "So, Amelia, still scanning groceries? Bet that business degree really paid off, huh?" he sneered. I didn't flinch. What I really wanted to say was, "You just signed a lease on a building I bought 2 weeks ago." But I kept my silence for now. They raised their glasses in a toast. My Uncle Dave lifted his glass and said, "To family, especially to those of us who didn't waste their lives." That was my cue. I stood up politely, reached into my coat pocket, and pulled out one envelope. "What's that?" Mom asked, narrowing her eyes. "Just something small," I replied softly, handing it to Dad. "Go ahead, open it." He opened the envelope, and his face immediately drained of color. Inside was a deed transfer. I had just purchased their entire neighborhood block, including his house, through a shell company he didn't even know about. He blinked hard, staring at the document as if it couldn't be real. This can't be," he muttered, passing it to Uncle Dave, who went pale. Tyler snatched it next, eyes narrowing as he read the fine print. "You own this?" he asked, voice trembling. "You bought our block, our houses?" I nodded calmly. 6 months ago, to my company, Ava Lane Holdings. Maybe you've heard of it, or maybe not. You've all been too busy laughing at me. Silence. Heavy, uncomfortable silence. Then Emily finally spoke, voice trembling. "That's not possible. You've been working at a grocery store for 2 years." "Yes, at night," I said. "During the day, I've been building a logistics business. Started with just $300 and one product. Now I ship for over 300 brands across the country. You said I'd never be anything. Remember that." Mom looked stunned. "So you're rich." I leaned in slightly. "Let's just say I paid for your new roof with one of my clients' monthly invoices." Their faces twisted in confusion, regret, and something more, fear. Uncle Dave finally broke the silence. "So what now? Are you going to kick us out?" I looked around, letting the silence settle again. Then I said, "I haven't decided yet." Their jaws dropped. For the first time in my life, they listened. Years of ignoring my calls, mocking my dreams, treating me like I was invisible. Everything changed tonight. My phone buzzed with a message from my biggest client. Shipments doubled. "We need to expand." I smiled, knowing this was just the beginning. Tyler's voice cracked as he asked, "Why didn't you tell us any of this? We could have helped." I shook my head. "You weren't interested in helping me. You wanted me to stay small, quiet, invisible." I paused, locking eyes with each of them. But I wasn't small. I was building an empire you couldn't see. Tears welled in Mom's eyes. "I was wrong, Amelia." I nodded. "Yeah, you were." And just like that, the girl they called a failure, Amelia, the cashier, was no longer what they thought. I was now the landlord of their entire neighborhood and the boss of some of the biggest brands in the country. I gathered my coat and walked out, leaving them stunned with their mouths open and their hands empty. They watched me go like I was a ghost, something they'd never truly noticed until I became the most powerful person in the room. Behind me, I could still hear whispers, shocked, jealous whispers, asking, "How did we miss this?" Weeks before that Christmas, I was just a shadow to them. Amelia, the girl who always showed up late, who never had the right clothes, who worked at the local grocery store because she lacked what it took. But while they threw shade, I was quietly signing contracts that would change my life forever. I started my business in a cramped apartment with a borrowed laptop and almost no savings. Every day I hustled, packing boxes, designing ads, learning everything I could online because no one believed in me. My family told me I was wasting my time, but each rejection fueled my fire. I knew one day I'd have proof, a real sign that I wasn't the failure they thought I was. And that day finally arrived, not with a small win or a single check, but with an empire. The company I built wasn't just mine. It powered hundreds of brands, moving millions of dollars worth of products across the country. I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was thriving. I controlled assets they'd only dream of. And the best part? They had no idea until I sat them down at that dinner and handed them the deed. My brother Tyler still refuses to meet my gaze. My mom's pride feels like an unspoken apology. My dad, he's been avoiding family calls altogether. But none of that matters now. What does matter is this: I broke free from their doubt. I turned their mockery into motivation. And the empire they ridiculed, it's mine completely. But here's the twist: they think this is the end of the story. It's not. While they were busy celebrating Christmas, I was already plotting my next move. And when I'm finished, they'll wish they'd never underestimated me. I stayed away from that house for weeks, ignored the group chats, the guilt-tripping voicemails, the half-hearted apologies. Suddenly, the same people who once laughed at me for not affording gas money were sending links to their own business ideas, asking if I'd mentor them. Tyler texted, "Hey sis, I've got this fitness app concept. Could use your help. Want to invest?" Emily posted an old photo of us with the caption, "So proud of my brilliant sister Amelia." Even Dad emailed a brief message, "Hope you're doing well. If you want to talk, I'm here." But I knew none of it was real. It was desperation disguised behind fake smiles. So, I did something they didn't see coming. I threw a party, a grand black tie affair, catered dinner, open bar, luxury everything. I rented out a ballroom at the most expensive hotel downtown, sent out gold embossed invitations that read, "From the one you forgot." And they all showed up, every single one, wearing their best clothes, pretending they weren't stunned as they stepped into that room. A chandelier hanging above was worth more than their cars combined. A string quartet played softly, setting the scene. I arrived last, in a stunning red dress, hair up, silent but commanding. Every head turned as I entered. I didn't need to say a word. I simply walked to the front, tapped the microphone, and spoke. Some of you remember me as the family disappointment. I began calm and steady. Some of you laughed when I said I was building something. Some of you didn't even bother to ask how I was doing. And yet, here we are. I paused, letting the silence settle. I invited you here tonight to say thank you. Thank you for not believing in me. Because if you had, I might have gotten comfortable. I might have waited for your approval. Instead, I fought for every dollar, every deal, every dream, turning what you saw as failure into my greatest gift. The room was silent again, ice clinking in glasses, anticipation thick in the air. Then I added, "Last Christmas, you exchanged gifts and left me out. So, I thought I'd return the favor with something none of you saw coming." The room screens lit up with a video montage, behind-the-scenes footage of my warehouse, my team, a headline from the New York Times. The 27-year-old behind America's fastest-growing fulfillment brand. The final slide appeared. Amelia Lane, CEO. 127 employees. Net worth, $14.6 million. A hush fell over the room. I looked directly at my dad. "Oh, and about your house? You're welcome to keep living there for rent. Not for you, but for Mom." He nodded slowly, silently acknowledging. Then I turned to Tyler. "And I'll be needing that office space you lease. My team's expanding." His face fell. I raised my glass, celebrating the best motivation in the world, being underestimated. That moment, I wasn't just the girl they forgot. I was the woman they would never forget.